Texas Governor Rick Perry decided to show off his stupidity yet again. He was speaking at a conservative event on Sunday, likely buttering up his base for his coming 2016 presidential run, and he argued that maybe Joan Rivers would still be alive today if we crack down on abortion. You see the logical connection there? Yeah, nobody does. He said, quote, "Clearly, the will of the Texas legislature, which I agree with, that it is a state's right to put particular types of considerations into place, to put rules and regulations into place, to make a clinic be as safe as a hospital. It was interesting that when Joan Rivers and the procedure that she had done where she died, that was a clinic. It's a curious thought that if they had had that type of regulation in place, whether or not that individual would still be alive." No, that's not a curious thought. It's a stupid thought. So he's arguing that if you just regulate the clinics better, they'd be safer, and that goes for Joan Rivers' clinic that she was in, and for abortion clinics. Boom, made the connection. There's only one problem with that logic. The Texas regulations aren't actually about safety. They're about putting people out of business. He's making the point as if the Republicans are legitimately concerned about the safety of abortion procedures. Of course they're not concerned about it. They want to outlaw it. So how did they outlaw it, or how did they try to outlaw it? By doing what's called a trap law, which actually stands for the Targeted Restriction of Abortion Procedure Law. Trap. They're telling you they're trapping you if you're an abortion clinic. So what did they do? Well, in the example of Texas, they made them all get hospital admittance clearance, and they all made them have their clinic rooms be the same as surgical procedure rooms by law. Now, that might sound good in theory, but the reality is you don't need to have an actual surgical room for that procedure, and that makes it cost prohibitive. That makes it so that all these different abortion clinics can't afford to upgrade their facilities and make them like that. And again, they don't even need to make it like that. And when it comes to getting admittances from hospitals, it's always incredibly nefarious because they make them go to like Catholic hospitals. And then they say, we're not going to give you a permit. And then they go, oops, I guess we have to shut down your clinic. Sorry, that wasn't our intention, even though it was totally our intention. I told you guys about this. There are stories coming from all different red states of state officials going into the abortion clinics, taking out tape measures, measuring the size of the ceiling in a hallway or the width of it, and then they say, oh, would you look at that? Your ceilings are 14 feet high. They need to be 14 feet 1 inch high in order for you to stay open. You have a month to change it or we shut you down. And of course, they don't have the money to afford an entire building renovation. And even if they did, the second they're done renovating, people would come in again and force them to change something again. So these are simply laws to shut down abortion clinics. Because of Roe versus Wade, red states cannot just write down on their law books, we are banning abortion. We are outlawing abortion. So what do they do instead? They get creative. And now the party that's totally anti-regulation in every other way, now they love the idea of regulations. They love the idea of big government coming in there telling people how they can and cannot run their business, how they can and cannot do their job. Isn't that hilarious? And they act like there's no hypocrisy there. They're just like, oh no, us Republicans, we just love regulation. That's what it is. We just want to go in there and efficiently regulate. What are you guys talking about? Well, in every other area, you say don't regulate. You say get the government out of the way. And now you like regulation? No, you don't actually like regulation. You're just trying to over-regulate them out of business. So this idea that Joan Rivers Clinic, and to be clear here, would I be in favor of better regulations on these outpatient clinics where they do surgical procedures? Well, yes, of course, it would obviously depend on the statistics and depend on the numbers and how safe these clinics are. If it's proven that they're much more unsafe than what they should be, then absolutely, yeah, regulate that. But to try to equate genuine regulation, which is necessary for outpatient clinics which are doing other surgical procedures, to trying to shut down abortion clinics through over-regulation, That's a purposefully misleading, and in Rick Perry's case, just a stupid point.